Hi, Sarah Mack here, and I'm so excited to bring you this free training today on self-care for creative entrepreneurs. And it's particularly timely, obviously heading into the holiday season. Winter is here. It's, the change, well, winter is coming, the fall is here, and there's, with the change of season, you can hear from my voice, I fell victim to one of those nasty coughs that's been going around. It wasn't too bad. But this is a time, especially heading into the new year, where we really need to be vigilant to taking care of ourselves. And I'm going to be talking exactly about why that's so important when it comes to hitting your goals in business and making sure that you enjoy your life. Hi, Benny. As an entrepreneur, as a creative, somebody who's up to lots of exciting things in the world. And I'm going to be sharing some actionable insights with you for you to start making some changes and really taking your energy and your impact and your results and your enjoyment of the work that you do to a whole other level. So if you're watching this live, say hello, send me some love, send me some likes, send me any questions that you have around this, any particular struggles that have been going on for you. Hi, Milan. And if you're watching the replay, please comment and leave questions and I will come back and answer those for you as well. So I'm a messaging coach and a mindset coach, and I work with creatives. And the reason I'm so excited about sharing this content with you today is, obviously you're getting your message out there, you're selling yourself, you're marketing yourself, you're bringing your skills, your talents, your products, your services to the world, and you're creating opportunities, for yourself and for others. And the difference between the people that make a big impact, have breakthroughs, have a lot of success, and the people who seem to be creating a lot of work for themselves and really struggling and are not really getting impactful results is all of the work that's going on behind the scenes to really get into alignment and to really show up powerfully in the work that you're doing. So I love the analogy of it's like the tip of the iceberg, the actions that you're taking in your business, like creating opportunities, making money, making an impact, sharing your work with the world. That's the tip of the iceberg. And the thing that makes it powerful, the thing that produces results, is all of the work that goes on behind the scenes that you are doing to cultivate that strength, that power, and that alignment with the way that you're showing up. So these are really powerful golden nuggets. And my invitation to you is to really listen with an open mind, with an open heart, and to just notice the things that I say, or even the little thoughts that pop into your head as you're listening to this that come to your attention, because there's nothing that's insignificant, right? It could be, maybe there's a conversation I need to have in a relationship. Maybe there's a boundary I need to negotiate. Maybe there's, a self-care habit that's been on my mind that I haven't really been following through on. All of those little thoughts that are happening, they all impact the energy that you cultivate on a moment-to-moment and a day-to-day basis. And, maybe there's some healing that needs to happen. Maybe there's an unresolved emotional childhood trauma that is like lodged somewhere in your energy body or in your physical body that just needs to be released, that needs to be loved and forgiven and let go to just free up the energy that has been, resisting that situation, whatever that is for you. Because this is the work that starts to unfold when you really start to step out and show up and really go for those big goals in your life. And, it's like the hero's journey, right? So it's all those little steps that are really important. So I'm going to bring the conversation down to be focusing on those details to really serve and support you. And an important message that I want to share with you is that overwhelm is a conversation that we get to buy out of. We get to decide that you're not available for overwhelm, right? Because you're in control of the things that you take action on. You're in control of the conversations that are going on in your head. You're in control of a lot. So really it's baby steps, right? Having compassion, accepting where you are, and recognizing that you can always take one incremental baby step in a better direction. And when you bring that attitude to every moment of your day and you consistently take conscious baby steps, suddenly that compound impact has a massive effect, even a day later, even a week later, a month later, a year later, and you look back and you're like, I'm living a completely different life and it feels so much better. So it's always a collection of the little tweaks and baby steps that we take that allow us to cultivate this energy and this momentum and the results and the alignment that feels really good. So I'll be sharing things that are going to really support you to show up and create epic results in your business and in your health first without hustling, really taking a holistic and loving approach where you support yourself first, because you are your number one most important asset, right? If you're not working, nothing else is working. So this is your number one most important business strategy and financial strategy, is to take care of number one and make sure your health is doing good, right? And you're maintaining it on a consistent basis and you're consciously choosing to do that. So this is really about real tangible techniques to start living your dream life now. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's a life that feels good. Like, it's not about hustling really hard to get to the destination and then enjoying it. It's about enjoying where you're at now, feeling good, feeling expansive, giving yourself permission to have everything that you desire in your life now, today, because that's the only way that we create results, is by choosing them now in this moment. All the while we're putting them in the future, we're just delaying, right? And we'll never get there. So, and I'm also going to share with you how you do not have to be anywhere near perfect. It's not about being perfect, but it's really just about being conscious and really becoming resilient, so that when, you know, you are a human being and you get sick, or you go through a challenging time, or something comes out of the blue, or you have to process something particularly challenging, you really have the details and the knowledge, the awareness, the consciousness to be able to support yourself and to bounce back really, really quickly. So this is really about unlocking more power, more fulfillment, more alignment, more satisfaction in your life and business. I'm going to be sharing some specific actionable insights. And really, this is the foundational work that supports everything in your life, right? So why listen to me about this? So as somebody who's been through burnout, I had to learn these lessons very fast. I, ran out of my physical resources, and I just ran out of energy. So I was at that same time, I was transitioning out of my career in film production to working as a freelance writer and starting my writing business. And I didn't have that much energy to do it. So I had to do it the lazy way. I had to be very focused, and I had to be, I learned a lot of how to maximize my energy, because I had a very small amount of it to play with as I was building my business. So, and I knew I wanted to step into my dream life. I knew I was pretty far from that, just because of the way that my health was. And, there was a lot of unanswered questions about the, new career direction that I was stepping into. But what I wanted, the intention, and I invite you to ask yourself the question, what does your dream life actually look like? For me, it was, being able to get up whenever I wanted, take a nap whenever I wanted, work from wherever, have the freedom to take care of myself and listen to my body, and to give it myself what I needed in the moment. I wanted to be in a career where my daily efforts were directly impacting the people in the communities I most cared about. So I felt like my energy was going to a cause that was really important to me. And I wanted the money for whatever I wanted, and the power to grow my income exponentially. And I wanted time and energy for creating, writing, and performance projects. I wanted freedom to be there for loved ones whenever I wanted to be, and the freedom to live where I wanted to. And I'm there now, and I've achieved all of those things, and I'm taking it to the next level. So how did I get there? The answer to that question is militant self-care. So self-care, it's an art and a science. And it's, this time here today on this training is really to honor that, and to bring you some insights and space for your own breakthroughs, so that you can bring your energy and the results and the amount of fun that you're having to a whole new level. There's always another level, right? And this applies to, what is self-care? It's not just bubble baths and, going to get your nails painted. It's really self-care in your health, self-care in your finances, in your relationships, in your business, in your schedule, in your boundaries, your diet, your sleep schedule, movement and exercise, fun and inspiration, friendships, contribution and impact. All of those things that have the power to really support you and to elevate you. And so what are the results that I have created for myself as a result of making these tweaks in my self-care and the way that I manage my energy? I've doubled my income every year for the past 3 years, and I've done that by working less, by feeling more in alignment, so less resistance and more momentum and fun around the work that I'm doing. I've visited, worked, and traveled in 15 different countries. I've created time for creative projects that were important to me. I've spent time with loved ones, been able to be there in different places geographically all over the world at different times. I have an amazing life that I really, really love. I'm my own boss, which is just the best thing ever. And, that doesn't mean that it doesn't come with challenges. I face challenges every single week, but that's life, right? And we get to control. There's so much of it that we get to control, even though there's a lot that we don't get to control. So this is about that part and really becoming a ninja and honing in on those small actions and baby steps and daily tweaks that we can be making that really make an impact over the long run in the amount of energy that we have access to, like how we create the wealth that we desire in our life. And that's wealth on all fronts, on, time, energy, fun, freedom, fulfillment, as well as money, as well as opportunities. So, how you're showing up in your life and how the way that interacts in your business is the most important conversation, because it really determines your success in everything. Everything is connected. Everything is affecting everything: your relationship, your money, your health, your free time, your fulfillment, your adventure. So this isn't just about money and business, because what the strategy for the way that you're creating your money, the way that you're showing up and creating success in your work, whatever it is that you're doing, the strategy is the easy part, right? As a creative, that ideas are like 1 in a million. You have so many ideas. I don't know if 1 in a million was the right phrase. What I wanted to say is you have so many ideas. Like, that's not the problem for you. Ideas are plentiful. It's really being the person who executes with success. That's the real work. And it's how you show up to that action that's everything. So, the way that you're tending to your self-care is going to impact your confidence, your power, your decisiveness, the inner dialogue that's happening for you. That is really all influencing how you show up and how you're taking action and how you prepare behind the scenes. This is the conversation that we're in, because your energy is everything. I say this again and again and again, especially when it comes to messaging, especially when it comes to sharing your work with the world, having conversations that create opportunities. Your energy never lies. And, human beings pick up on that, even if there's a screen between you, even if, it's words on a page. How you're really feeling underneath is going to come through. And even if, people aren't consciously noticing it, people are going to be turned on or they're going to be turned off based on the energy that you're bringing. So if you are in a conversation of, having a lack of confidence, not really believing in yourself, just being filled with fear as you take action, that action is going to read very differently to when you come from a place of confidence, ease, fully embodied alignment, and, being really true and resonating with who you are at the core. So this conversation is all about coming into alignment and integrity with yourself, because integrity is the place where everything lines up, where it feels really good, where you are, really listening to your desires, really expressing your uniqueness and taking action on the things that are genuinely important to you and really living them out and expressing them. That's the sweet spot where things get easy, fun, where it's powerful, and you can create results much more easily than trying to push yourself in a direction that isn't maybe really, where you want to be going, or it just isn't quite meant for you. So this is about fully executing what you genuinely desire to create. That's where the flow, ease, success, fun, and massive contribution come from. Because when you harness that power, the more you can access that place, the more you have to give, the more lives you get to impact with, less energy. So this is really all about you taking amazing care of you so that you can get out of your own way, because it's not really about you. It's about, what's the work that's coming through you, the desires that you have, the work that you want to do in the world, the lives that you want to impact, the work that you want to share and produce. And this is about you being able to enjoy that dream life now, today, by doing that. By getting out of your own way, by making sure that you're taken care of, not, just like being a slave and push and suffer until like someday in the future that maybe you're going to have that thing, but it's probably not going to feel very good because you're going to be really burnt out, or like you didn't really end up in the place that you actually wanted to be because you weren't listening to yourself and you weren't staying aligned in integrity. So obviously your health is the foundation to everything, right? And, as women, self-worth is a big part of the conversation. Maybe we've been conditioned to always put others first. Maybe there's been, whether you were part of a, type of religious community that really taught that, or, you were in a family where that was really encouraged, where like, your role models were women who really sacrificed everything for their family. And, maybe they sacrificed their dreams or their health in the process. Maybe you've experienced oppression or discrimination, or you've experienced, times and conversations where the things that you value have been shut down, and, you've been led to believe that what you care about isn't valuable, or that you shouldn't pursue it. Right? So there's a lot of undoing that needs to happen, especially as women, especially as creatives, especially as, healers, people who are trailblazers and really have different values to, a lot of the status quo when it comes to the working world and working environments that maybe we've been used to being a part of. So, this is the work. And that's really the self-care and compassion that you get to cultivate for yourself, is to really be listening, really trusting yourself where maybe you hadn't trusted yourself in the past, and really stepping into that and allowing yourself to pave your own way, because that's always going to be the easiest path. It's always going to be the most powerful, and it's always going to be the most fun. And trying to squish yourself into a box that somebody else built for you, right? So let me know if this is resonating. And, let me know, like, what are your biggest struggles when it comes to energy management? You probably know what that thing is. Like, what is that one habit you can't quite seem to like get good at, that would really support you, that's been on your mind a lot? Or maybe it's a scheduling thing, or maybe it's like an overcommitting thing, or saying no, or navigating boundaries with family. Just get clear on what is the number one thing for you that's kind of would be the biggest game changer if you really learn how to navigate that in a powerful way. Because it's really about a series of tiny decisions and actions that are made with consistency that lead to habit change. So, you often hear about the stories of great athletes, how they claim their success is, based on mastery of the foundations. So it's not always these like big fancy strategies, or, just like going crazy and doing something completely out of the ordinary, but actually, creating success is a matter of consistency, is a matter of showing up for yourself daily, and really cultivating momentum and building your energy. If you're building, then, when you do take a hit, it's going to be easier for you to bounce back than if you've been a little bit unstable or inconsistent with building that energy. And then you can, something can come out of left field and just knock you down. And then it can take a lot more to kind of build yourself back up again. Obviously, as a burnout sufferer, that's something that happened to me. So now I'm really militant about my self-care and always tending to these little actions. And I'm very, tuned in and sensitive and aware to how these little things really impact and make a change. And so I know, and I can tell when, I've maybe fallen off the bandwagon with something, with one particular habit that I know is really supporting me, and I start to feel it, and immediately I know, oh, I can see why, what was causing that. So it's really creating that sensitivity, creating that connection with yourself, to really be listening, because then you're adaptable, and then you get to change course quickly, and you get to stay in that momentum, keep that momentum building, which is really everything, especially in entrepreneurship, especially if you have a big creative project that, you're coming up against a lot of things that are challenging for you, or you're stepping into the unknown, or you're doing something different, or showing up in a bigger way. You need that resilience in order to have the strength and the courage to, come up against all of those things that are going to be happening, like the self-doubt, the uncertainty, the failures that happen when you step out and do something new. So, and what is the thing that controls your habits, right? It's the mindset. It's the conversation that's going on behind the actions that changes everything. That's really the root of your, gold mine, and that source of your power, that when you take control of that piece, the rest becomes a lot easier. So, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, it's really important to remember that it's a marathon, not a race. And I remember people telling me this over the past few years, and I'm very like creatively impatient, and I'm very like a fast action taker, and I have an idea, I want to, you know, take it immediately. I want to do all the things at once. And, you know, obviously that's what led me to my burnout. I was doing too many projects. I mean, I was having an amazing life, doing lots of things that I really loved, but I wasn't making sure that I was filling up my tank before I was going out, you know, full steam ahead in doing all of this work in the world. So it's taken a little while for that message to really sink in for me. And you know, the process is really always in closing the gap. There's always a gap, right? You're always going to want to be at another level. There's always going to be somewhere else that you're excited to get to, no matter, you know, how many goals you've knocked down, how many accomplishments you've met. And, you know, the gap can be a very messy and uncomfortable place. And I see this with my clients all the time. So, you know, as soon as you start shifting your mindset, you shift your focus, you start getting really decisive in choosing to create what it is that you desire. And then you start, you know, energetically embodying that place and really stepping into that and owning that. Suddenly it can create a lot of dissonance with where you are right now, because you're like, oh, you know, I'm, you know, moving to be up here, but where I am right now, like, I don't know, this like office is kind of messy and not really giving me the vibes of that person that I want to be, or this relationship is suddenly becoming really uncomfortable because I never noticed before how much we complain when we're together, or, you know, just like not working out like enough is suddenly becoming very uncomfortable, and you're feeling physically uncomfortable because you're summoning all of this extra energy, but you haven't made the choice to cultivate that before. You know, these are just a few examples, and I've seen my clients go through some crazy things, like get really, really sick, and things can seemingly get a lot worse. I've had people like total their cars, and then suddenly that takes a big chunk out of their finances just as they're stepping into, you know, choosing to create that next level of income. And it's all like tests from the universe, right? It's all an opportunity and an invitation of, oh, well, now I have to really step up. I really have to start paying attention to taking care of my health and managing my schedule and my business and my relationships. I really have to, you know, step up and start creating like additional sources of revenue because I have to pay for this new car. So a lot of the time it can seemingly get worse before it gets better. You know, like, or maybe you just like enrolled in something and then suddenly that feels like it's wrong for you, and that you have to have some very difficult conversations to get out of that so that you can get onto that new path that you know is more aligned for you and will feel better once you get there. So yeah, it's like a purging of the old, and that starts with awareness, right? By first of all noticing like, oh, this feels really uncomfortable, or this isn't really working for me, or this just doesn't feel right and I want out of it, even though I'm like really shit scared of how I'm going to get out of it, and I don't even know what, you know, what I'm stepping into. But just creating a lot of that space so that, you know, you have time to start putting in those actions that are in alignment with that person that you know, are deciding to be, to create the next level of results. So we always get to choose differently. Every action that we take, every time we choose to go to bed 5 minutes earlier, or, you know, like drink an extra glass of water, or say no to something when we know that we have a busy schedule. It's in those moments where we're really tuned in, we're really connected, and we're making choices that are in alignment with building energy and momentum that just makes the, you know, our journey and our expansion so much more easy. So excuse me. So yeah, so to have the life you desire, it really requires showing up for yourself in ways that you've never shown up for yourself before. And it requires releasing any old conditioning that has caused you to not show up for yourself before. And you get to do that with love and compassion, you know, without making a big dramatic story about it, which, you know, believe me, I've been there. But you just get to let go and move on. And that's going to be the fastest way for you to start having more fun. So, you know, if you think before, like, I'm not the person who, you know, charges this amount of money, or I'm not the person who takes a day off in the middle of the week, or I'm not the person who, you know, I don't know, goes to the, you know, works out every single day, you get to decide again and to be, you know, whatever it is that feels in alignment for you. There's no right or wrong. There's just always the next step and the next level for you, and only you know what that is, right? So why do some things work out for some people and not work out for others? When you say I'm doing this thing that this other person does, and that's how they said that they created this result, and I'm doing that, like I don't know, launched a podcast, or I started going to the gym every day, or I stopped smoking, or I launched an online business, but I haven't got the same results as the person that I was learning from. So why does that happen? And it's all down to the way you're embodying the work that you do and really allowing yourself to put yourself in the work and not just going through the motions, right? That's how you create powerful results. There's a big difference between someone who's just like banging out a social media post and somebody who's, really like acting on a moment of inspiration to share a message that they really value and think is important, that they're really excited to share with a specific community for a specific reason, right? And there's a big difference between sharing your message just because you're trying to manipulate people to buy from you, and sharing your message because you want to be a contributor and you want to connect, and it feels really good to do that. You're going to come to the same action with a very different energy that's going to produce a very different result. So from the inception of an idea to creating an opportunity to really going for it and creating real results, there are many, 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 many different levels with which that result can be expressed and created according to the different ways that different people show up for it. So it's really all determined by your energy, by your alignment, and what's a genuine calling for you. Because it's going to be very hard for you to get your energy behind something that's incongruent with your values, that just feels out of integrity, or feels like, you're just doing it for like ulterior motives. And there's always another small degree of alignment to be found. Sometimes, obviously the gap can feel like it's a huge jump, and we have different capabilities to be able to navigate really big jumps and taking really big risks. Like everybody has a different capacity for that. And if sometimes it's the wrong choice to take a really big risk if you're going to be in so much fear and doubt that you paralyze yourself from really following through with that. So maybe you're somebody that, needs to take baby steps. And we all have different capacities for, confidence and risk and action taking that are different in every single area of our life. Sometimes maybe you've had a history of pain in relationships, and so that's just a very like tender area for you that you have a lot of challenging in a dialogue around. Maybe it's in finances, maybe it's in health, maybe there's whatever area of your life where you've really lost trust in yourself to be able to create the result that you desire. And it takes love and care and compassion and patience to really cultivate trust in yourself to be able to create something different. Baby steps are amazing, right? And celebrating every single one along the way. So this is obviously a message that's coming through today. And it's how you're showing up for and managing your money, your business, your relationships, your health. Everything impacts everything else. And obviously your health is the foundation of your wealth. So, once you take care of that, once you take care of business, once you eliminate the things that are draining your energy because they're stressful, because you haven't managed them in a way that's feeling good for you, then you free up more energy, resources, bandwidth, capability, and momentum to create whatever it is that you are excited to create next. So here's some inspiration to support you to show up more powerfully and some actionable practices. But I really invite you to pay attention. Excuse me, what do you know right now? What do you already know? Because you always already know like what that next edge is for you, what that next shift or that next baby step, that next habit change that's really been either A, causing you a lot of stress because you haven't been paying attention to it and you haven't been answering the call of the stress and the pain and really looking at what's causing that so that you can make the change and put it right. Or, maybe it's something that you've been trying, but you like have success and then you fall back and then you get a little bit more success and then you fall down again. That's been your, like the mountain that you've been trying to overcome. So what are those big things for you when it comes to really being able to show up more powerfully, really being able to manage your energy and to just feel like you're really showing up for yourself? Just like you can let me know in the comments. Just, take note of whatever pops to mind for you right now. And nothing is irrelevant, right? Nothing is irrelevant. Like, oh, maybe it's like I needed to, one of my lamps, like the lamp bulb has gone out. and not having it as, making me squint when I'm working. These little things that we do to support ourselves, that stop taking up mental energy, that support us, that lift us up, that elevate us, that make it easier for us to show up for the work we're most excited to do. When we, tweak all of those little things, that's, how we create momentum. So I'm going to share with you a few pointers and ideas for energy killers and energy elevators. So I'm just going to read through a bunch of ideas. Let me know what other things come to mind for you, which ones stand out for you. And this isn't about giving you like, these are all of the things that you need to change and that you need to start doing, right? Because remember, overwhelm is a choice that we get to opt out of, and just focusing on one thing at a time, especially when it comes to habit change, right? Really cementing that habit and allowing it to be something that you just naturally do because you've consistently done it for such a long time. That's going to support you way more to just focus on one thing and then move on to another thing than try and do millions of changes at once and then just be like, well, this isn't working, this is too much, and then spiraling back again, right? Okay, so here we go. Energy killers. Self-judgment, not sleeping enough, eating shitty food, working too much, saying yes to clients you don't love working with, not scheduling your time well, clients who don't pay on time, or not navigating your boundaries around payment dates. Family time can be an energy killer. Obviously, family can be some of our most challenging relationships. It can also be some of our most wonderful relationships as well. So it is on the other list. Financial disorganization, fear and doubt, disaster thinking, complaining, negative people, oppressive environments, too much screen time, social media. And, obviously all of these things are something that you get to navigate your relationship with. They can be an energy killer. They can also be an energy expander, depending on the way you show up for them. So energy elevators. So your most powerful tool is your mind, right? To impact and to respond to your emotions in a supportive way. That is really the control panel for the way that you're responding, the way that you're showing up and taking action, the way that you're navigating your choices. Obviously the content you consume, so inspirational, uplifting and empowering content, really noticing how things make you feel when you show up for it, having quality sleep, choosing to work with clients that you love, setting boundaries that support you, setting boundaries so that you can get paid on time, having systems and structures that take care of life and business for you, outsourcing, how great to save energy by giving, opportunities for other people, to support you, spending time in nature, meditation, movement, good food, good people, inspiration and adventure, family time, connection with community, working with health practitioners, feeling supported, and asking for and receiving help, and really sharing and being in community and bringing other people into your mission and the work that you're doing feels really, really good. So what out of these are popping out to you? Make a note of it and just really ask yourself, like, what action am I being invited to take differently to really support myself and showing up more powerfully? What is that for you? I would love for you to share that. And so who is that person? Who is the person who loves her life? Who is the person who navigates all of these things in a way that feels, for the most part, really good? Who is that person being? What actions is she taking? What is her inner dialogue? So again, coming back to this idea of the tip of the iceberg, the result is, the result that you see, that you celebrate, is a result of all of those baby steps that were taken in order to make it a success. Every conversation that was navigated from a place of consciousness and awareness, every time you went to bed early, every time you noticed when you were heading on a destructive path and you pulled back and you changed course and direction. Every time you chose to cultivate passion, so that when you do show up and you take action, that they really pay off for you. So, this is kind of what I call magic marketing, is really choosing to do this work and cultivating the conversation behind the way that you're showing up that really dramatically shifts the results beyond, simply the strategies that you're implementing. It makes all the difference. The way you are in relationship with your business, in relationship with your money, the conversations that you're having internally and externally about those things, and the way that you're choosing to show up and share your work in the world. So, it's the easiest when you learn to show up fully as yourself, unapologetically, right? Because that's a lot of debris and resistance and like emotional heavy lifting that just doesn't have to be done. When you give yourself permission to just be you and to really support yourself and to really identify what those things are and to follow through on those actions with consistency. So if this is something, that's really calling you, this conversation, and you want to be showing up and sharing your work in a bigger way, creating those next level results and doing it in a way that's not sacrificing any more of your energy, and causing you any more stress or becoming a burden for you to create the things that you really desire in your life, and you're ready to start to really pay attention to that, make those shifts and transformations, sometimes step into things that can be, that uncomfortable, messy middle. I have, this is the work that I do with my clients one-on-one, in really helping you to get clear on what those answers are for you, because it's different for everybody. And, at the same time, while I'll share the exact practices that have been completely game-changing for me to really double my income and slice my work hours in half for the past 3 years consistently, in a way that can also support you to navigate really what the next best decision for you is, right? To really be very intentional about your schedule, about your, well-being, how, you are taking care of yourself, you're taking care of all of the areas of your life so that you're harnessing that energy to really show up powerfully, and to create opportunities and impact that is magnetic, that people want to be a part of, that people want to say yes to, that really stands out above the crowd because it's like nothing else, out there, because it's so connected to who you are and what it is that you really desire to create and to express. So I'm, in my coaching work, I really support people to show up and market and sell in a way that feels really natural and feels like it's simply an extension of the work that you're meant to be doing. So it's joyful, it's easeful, it's powerful, it's contribution, it's not manipulative, it's not push, it's not you have to work really, really hard and do all of these really unnecessary things. Really just keeping it simple, and by really harnessing that power, rather than overcomplicating things and making it harder than it needs to be, then that's how you create enjoyment in the journey. That's how you start living your dream life and really enjoying your business and your vocation and your work now, not, after you've created the result, which, by the way, you can follow all the strategies and push really hard and copy what everyone else is doing, and it still can fail because it's really dependent on the power that you bring, the alignment that you bring, and the energy that you're bringing to the work that you're doing. That, that's the one thing that you have the most control over, that really wins every time. It always works. So, and it always, feeling better always works, right? When you're feeling better, then from that place, and you can take care of business, you can overcome obstacles, you can go out and be the best version of you. And not only that, but when you do that, it's really, you're like pulling the rudder and navigating onto the path of least resistance to be attracting the relationships, the working relationships, the clients, the opportunities that are the easiest because they're most aligned with who you are. They're the best fit for you. So you get to avoid a whole load of bullshit of working with people that aren't really a good fit for you, that you don't jive with, that you don't really communicate well with. And, you get to sell to these people, and you get to provide and deliver more value because they're more receptive to you. And, these people, just gather around the work that you're doing, and it's easy and it's fun. So this is really how powerful this work is. And, I've kept things really, really simple in my business, and I've created incredible results every time I've shown up and, put something into action. And obviously there are things that have worked better than others, but I know the process, right? Through learning, through doing that in the way that I've been showing up, how to navigate the way to make it work, and how to know when I'm pushing in a wrong direction, or I've really lost sight, or, I'm kind of leaking my energy or leaking my power in a direction that's not serving and supporting, the fullest expression of my mission. So if that's something that is speaking to you, please send me a message. I'd love to have a conversation about that to see if, we're a good fit to work together. I'm also going to be launching a new offer very soon, which is going to be very exciting, have lots of bonuses and early bird offers. So if you send me a message, if working together is something that you think would really support you from where you're at the moment, you're really ready to hit the next level and for it to be easy, do send me a message and I will definitely keep you posted on that. And I would love to hear your takeaways. Thank you so much for watching, and stay well, take care, and have an amazing day. Bye.